I'm out walking this morning and just talk about this situation with, you know, Angie Stone and how you should cherish life. Because listen, we all here on borrowed time. And not the funny thing, but the ironic thing about it, I was literally just talking about this the other day. Hold on a second. Thanks for this. Let's see. No, I don't want that. Hold on a second. Put that up. All right. All right. So I'm out walking right now. But I want to make this conversation around Angie Stone and the unfortunate circumstances that happened right after she had to. I believe the accident happened. Was it Saturday morning, yesterday? They said that she was performing on Friday in Alabama, and they were in the sprinter. I believe they said it was nine. Was it nine other people? I think she had some family and some crew that were on the sprinter, and an 18 wheeler tractor trailer hit the sprinter. It flipped, and she was the only one who succumbed to her injuries and, passed away. And it's so unfortunate and it's crazy because just the other day, I believe on Friday, I was talking about that. I delete a lot of my lives because I feel like it's just not like, especially when I'm walking, I don't like get on camera because it's showing my area and I just don't believe in doing that. But so I just kind of like do this just to walk and talk. And then now, especially stuff like that, that's loud. But I like to just walk and talk and then now. But if that story doesn't tell you anything, I hope that it shows you how valuable and how short life could truly be. Like, yo, let me just say this. I'm out and I'm walking about right now. Who's to say somebody with some sort of mental illness can't just come and gun me down or stab me or anything like that? When I'm walking and I see people passing me, of course I'm very vigilant, but you just never really know when it's going to be your time to go. And I just talked about that on Friday. What I said on Friday was is that a lot of people be in high positions, and this doesn't pertain to Angie. A lot of people be in high positions. Say you're saying like, "Oh, I will never live in Houston in this certain area," and I do, whatever the case may be. All it takes is one accident to disable you, and then suddenly, once your money drains, you're living in that area that you said that you would never live in. Like an accident could change your whole life to the point where I'm on here preaching to y'all and telling you how important it is to have health and wellness and mobility, and how I walk last month in the month of February. I did almost 200 miles. And you know what's so crazy? Even in that month, I felt like I lacked. But I had to realize and pat myself on the back that you did more than most people. Like, like most people don't even walk 10 miles a month. I did almost 200. I had 179 miles between February 1st and February 28th. So you can do all of that and you can still get in a car accident and lose it all and lose your life and lose your mobility. So it's like you got to be thankful for each and every day that you have alive. And like people be thinking that I'm playing, but it's even to the point where, for example, say for example, you're like, oh, and see, you wouldn't even think about this like that, but you just never know. A woman or a man, say you like, oh, I left my charger in the car. You go out and you think that you even live in a nice, say you don't live in a nice area or or you live in a nice area. It's always somebody lurking all the time. Each and every time that you go out and you make it back to your apartment and close that door, that's a blessing. And they can still get in there if you unarmed or whatever, right? I just feel like, and the bigger message that I'm just saying is I feel like we undervalue, like, and we don't realize like every moment is precious. Every moment. And I don't know why this car ain't moved because you had ample time to get across. You just wanted to see what the fuck I was doing. Come on. I hate people doing shit like that. Probably because I'm black in this area with a yellow ass shirt on and a black do rag. You had more than ample time to get across that road. You just wanted to see what the hell I was doing. See? and stuff like that. What was that? What if that was some crazy race soldier trying to figure out why I was in this area, even though it's a diverse area? Come on, like you just never really know what people be on. And I know it's a lot of um, supporters in this area, and I know that some of them feel certain, not all of them, but some of them do still feel a certain way towards Black people. But you see how I just presented that situation? Come on. I could easily be all of us, especially Black men and Black women. You could easily be a Trayvon Martin walking through. You know who you gonna come across. You could easily be in the highway and it could be a drunk driver who just, yo, I think about that shit all the time. I was coming home this morning at like 4 o'clock in the morning and somebody was just going crazy on 59 in Houston. They was like swerving in and out. I don't know if they was like racing or chasing somebody, but what if they just swerved the wrong way and just hit my car and my shit flipped? You really don't know. You don't. So life is so precious and people just undervalue it. You don't know. I'm out walking right now. What if a damn big ass, and it's all about, what ifs or whatever, right? I'm walking right now. What if a big ass pit bull or a XL pit bull and I'm just unguarded? I don't got no mace, I don't got no nothing, no bat. That's why you ever notice when you see people who walk with their dogs, sometimes they don't even be worried about them getting attacked. They don't want their dogs to get killed by a random animal or something like that. And they be having bats and everything. I know you probably seen that. Or a lot of people they travel with bear mace or something like that, and in hindsight, I probably should have something walking, but this area typically is good because it's like where I'm walking, it's not really, hmm, it's hard to describe it, but it's like it's a community, but then it's really like the communities are not far away, but it's like those if it was a dog roaming, it would probably be just in that area. But you never come, you never know, right? So shit, you hear all these stories on the news where people get viciously attacked by dogs. Listen, I know that if a dog try to kill me, I'm going out with all my. I'm gonna try to dismantle your fucking face. I promise you. I'm gonna take my hands and I'm gonna try to pry your fucking mouth. I'm gonna try to pop your fucking neck. Like I'm gonna. And that's what they say. You're supposed to fight hard. You're not supposed to fold and give up if you're attacked by an animal. You're supposed to fight hard, and I'm gonna keep punching that motherfucker in the nose. I'm gonna try to twist that fucking neck. I'm gonna be going crazy. You ain't just gonna take my life like that. Fuck that. But that's the risk that you have when you outside even walking like this. Everything is a risk. And you know what's so real? My family has been plagued by uh car accidents, right? My family has been plagued. My niece, she was in two bad car accidents. And I told her you should be very funny about how people drive you and drive around. She was in two accidents when she was a little girl. Thank God, right? But in Baltimore, Maryland, my mother's cousin, which would be I guess it's what is it? If it's your mother's cousin, we would say like just to be respectful that that's your aunt. But my mother's cousin, she was going to the Walgreens and West Baltimore, right? She just said, "Let me go pick up go. Let me go pick up my medication from Walgreens." I'm telling you, this is how quick it can happen. You underestimate it, and I still feel bad to this day that I didn't go to her funeral. This probably happened in 2019 or 2020. When did Elaine pass away? I think it was like, hmm, yeah. Because I remember I was out with one of my homeboys who passed away too from having that damn jab. When did Elaine pass away? I gotta ask my mom. But anyway, right? So Elaine was she left her house in West Baltimore off of Ocala Avenue. She said, let me go to Walgreens to pick up my medication. Well, she's at the light and somebody T-bones her. You know what it means when somebody T-bones you, right? Say you're waiting at the light to turn, and then somebody else turns around the corner. T-boning you is hitting you on your driver's door between the driver and passenger side. Instantly killed her. She was just going to get her medication to come back home. That shit is so real. People don't understand that. Like, life is so precious. Now, little Elaine, who done left the house to go get her medication, she ain't make it back because somebody was rushing. Who knows what they was? And listen, I don't think that they were like on the chase from somebody. They just was a poor driver. Now Elaine done lost her life. done went down to the damn Walgreens to get her medication and come back. She at the light, and somebody who spun the corner, probably an inexperienced driver, T-boned her. That's crazy. I never really followed up after that to see what happened with the because that's probably a manslaughter charge. That's definitely in they operated that motor vehicle uh with that was inexperience. That was definitely because I've never, even with seeing a car there, like, come on. But what I want you to glean from that story was she left her house under the premise of getting her medication and coming back and taking it. And she never made it back. Like, yo, think about this. Think about it. Every time I step foot on an airplane, it might not be a good thing to have in mind, but I'll be like, look, I know if something happened to me, my family gonna be taken care of. I got my life insurance. This airline is gonna have to pay for whatever. Like, I try not to stress about it, but with so many back-to-back plane instances, just the other day they had a plane that had to land because the damn one of the engines caught on fire. Like, what is really going on? So tragedy is just a day away, to be honest with you, to be honest. We can't really live in fear. Of course, I'm gonna have to fly again. I'm in Texas and my family lives in New York. I'm gonna have to get on a plane again. But you have to think about this too. It's like a gamble. Will it be your plane? You know how many flights there are per day? There's hundreds, probably I would say hundreds to thousands of flights per day in the United States. So it's just is it your lucky day or is it not? That's pretty much it. But I think that we take life for granted and we don't realize you just going to get some food and coming back, you blessed. You going down to your car to get your charger you left behind. You happy that you be lucky that you wasn't murdered or assaulted by a person making it back. Be happy that you didn't get into an accident. Be happy that you didn't get mauled by a damn dog on a walk like me right now. And I ain't trying to call that shit into my life, but I'm just saying you have to be fortunate because the shit could go down at any time. So, and Angie Stone, it seemed as though that she was going through something with her record label too, as far as like not being paid. I was listening to her live and stuff. Um, so she had some issues as far as like Universal not paying her royalties, and she felt as though that she hired certain people to handle the business and they wasn't handling it. Like, and what I will say about that, because I definitely still want to be respectful, she was more of a tenured artist, but that's what I realized about a lot of artists from back in those days. They only really cared about getting on that stage and getting that money, where they might have not cared about all of the red tape. Because I would have thought with somebody from her tenure that she would have understood that years and years and years ago. And you got to realize Angie Stone had peaked already when it came to career wise. Like, yeah, she still do her shows. She run her little black circuit and people book her because she has hits and people love Angie Stone. But I would have thought that they would have figured that out years ago. And it's just so unfortunate that it seems as though now she's woken up and at the point where she wanted to fight to get what's hers, now her life is gone. And I'm not like, other people, conspiracy theorists. Like, let me tell you something. My big issue, and I'm not trying to ridicule or, be funny to people. Some people have some conspiracy theories that are really good. But one of the reasons why I don't like TikTok, it's like a lot of people who want to be conspiracy theorists, they want to have that whole conspiracy theory going on. And they points just don't even be really pointing. Like, it's people who will try to like mesh together some shit. And it's just like, did you take all this energy to even graduate high school or get a degree? Or are you just repeating stuff that you heard somebody else say? Or is it just like you link the story together and you're like, oh, she was fighting her label. And I think UMG, they did this and they caused her death. Like, first and foremost, you know how easy it would be for me to come up and make a video and talk about that? And just for shock value, make a title, be like UMG responsible for Angie Stone. The crazy thing about it is that wouldn't feel good to me. But some people they get it like they so insensitive. They don't even care. Like this internet, this internet times that we're in, it forces so many people because they can hide. they can hide behind thumbnails, or they can just hide behind never having to like be accountable for what they're saying. But let that shit happen to somebody in their family, and somebody coming up with all these conspiracy theories, and they wouldn't like it. Like, let me tell you something. So let me ask you this more so in a way so you could think about it. A person is leaving from performing the night before. They're in a sprinter going down the highway or whatever, right? Now, I understand that Angie Stone said in her video she felt like the devil was like on her or whatever, right? I don't know if she was saying that pertaining to like her business end of it or whatever, right? So she said that, but imagine a person just on the highway. We don't know if the damn driver of the sprinter wasn't looking, and he tried to jump in front of that truck. Let's be honest. I will admit it to you right now. Have you jumped in front of a truck before? I have, but I typically try to make sure I have enough space. I've done it before because I know that the trucks have got mad at me, and I think they get really mad because they have all of that weight and they need to stop it, right? It's different from jumping in front of a truck than jumping in front of a car. Like it's different, especially if it's at a higher speed. So we don't know if this sprinter was just trying to get out because, with me, some people when they're driving, they get intimidated by trucks. I don't. I don't know why. I don't. And I got a damn sedan, not a van or not a truck. I don't. When I see them, I press that fucking gas faster. Like, let me get the fuck in front of them. Who the fuck they think they are? You got this huge truck. Ain't no way you gonna beat me. Maybe that's just my male mind and like competitive force in me. But I'm like, you ain't come on. What that look like? First and foremost, the cops is gonna pull you over if you think you even gonna drive fast like that. I be thinking it's so funny, yo. I be like playing um cat and mouse games with tractor trailers especially on 59. I love 59. I'll be driving, I'll be seeing them like I'll get on off my exit and I'll see them like it'll be a truck near me. And I'll speed up so much. I'll wait like 5 minutes later and I don't forgot about them and I see them creeping up in my rear view and I step right on the gas again. Like, what you thought? Like, come on. I don't know if that's just a competitive force in me too, but also my mind be like this, right? Now I don't have no luxury vehicle, but I do have like a newer Honda Accord. But I'll see a Hyundai, and nothing wrong with Hyundai people or nothing. But I'll see their car, and I'll be like, "Do you really think that you about to eat me up on the highway in a fucking Hyundai? Pedal to the metal in the ghetto. Ow! You're not gonna beat me. It's just not gonna happen. Boom. It's just not gonna happen. So anyway, how do we know? So a person, a piss poor conspiracy theorist, they will say like, "Oh, uh, UMG did this to Angie Stone." Let me just be fair, be frank. Angie Stone right now, she had like, I'm pretty sure her listeners went up. She had like at the time where they announced her death because I went to go. It's a natural thing when a person dies, you go and stream their music. So I was like, oh, I went to go play her songs, and I said, oh, she had 900,000 listeners on Spotify. That's not a little bit, but it's not a lot, a lot, a lot. It shows that she has a consistent base, and of course, they have like those R&B playlists, those neo soul playlists, and I'm pretty sure that's how people get a lot of the music. And she's able. That's for a lot of people, right? So Angie Stone, as talented as she is, and she has a base, and she's able to work it and do these shows. She has peaked as an artist. A lot of our favorite artists have peaked. Mary J. Blige has peaked. She's amazing. She's talented. She does what she does. I love Foxy Brown. She's peaked. A lot of her songs are on these playlists too. She probably has about the same amount of listeners, or maybe a little more than Angie Stone. We still love these people, but they peaked. So it's like, I was thinking, like, how much royalties could a person really be getting in a time like right now anyway? It's kind of like, but still, right? What she was saying was is that she should have been able to retire years ago. But I don't think an artist would ever want to fully retire because they can always get that stage money. Like, what? So she said that there's so much money that is owed to her from UMG, and she's never got the money. I understand that. But I'm also a person who will say, how much money would that be in the now? Maybe it's the past money that she wants. And I don't know how hard that's going to be to even get that money, to be honest with you. And it's kind of one of those unfortunate things where that's why when we look at certain artists in the now, when they make sure their business is done right. Right? For example, y'all remember for what was that show? The Essence Music Festival or Wireless, right? Let's use an artist for an example who we know that don't play they don't play that shit. And the crazy thing about it is, it's probably not this artist I'm gonna say. It's probably that she has a good team. But y'all notice for the Essence Music Fest or with some festival that was across seas, Nikki did not let them stream it because streaming is other licenses, is more money, and you gotta pay them. You have to pay them. You gotta pay like you weigh. You can't play with her like that, right? Angie Stone, God bless her soul. Rest in peace to her family. But to me, that's a lapse somewhere. That is a lapse. How y'all let this go on for so long? But see, what happens is that show money be so good. You getting that 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 per show. And you like, shit, I got 3 shows this month. That's $30,000. Like, you won't think about them little coins that's supposed to be coming from the publishing, which are due to you as well. But it's all about the deal you sign. And this was in the early 2000s, in the 90s. I don't know what type of deal Angie Stone signed, but I remember, for example, like an artist like Remy Ma, she said when she signed with Big Pun, he told her, don't ever let nobody take your publishing, ever. So like, if I can remember from Remy, no matter how big of a career she had, she always prided herself in owning her publishing. So she had somebody in her ear who told her the right thing. Angie Stone, I don't know who I don't know who advised her or who was her mentor, but it's apparent that some that they did her dirty. They did. And then something else that she mentioned too, she said that, even though she does samples, you got to realize this too. When you do samples of songs, I don't know how much percentage of the song was different from the actual the record that she sampled, but a lot of times, like, even when you think about Whitney Houston, what's that song that Dolly Parton said she wrote? Um, I Will Always Love You. I think when Whitney Houston died, Dolly Parton made it very clear that, listen, I just want to let you know, whenever you stream or buy this song, I am getting paid for it. She's getting full royalties for it. So to me, with Angie Stone's tenure in the game, she was in the game for so long that people wanted to redo those songs. And at what cost? You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. If you could get I Will Always Love You attention, you might get the bookings or whatever. If you could just get the attention off, I'm not saying that this is Angie Stone case, but I'm just telling you, think about it. It's different times. So we progress in the music industry where it's like they're not doing things the same way that they did prior. Because I would think in a time like now, say I'm the record label, and any random person in the chat right now, I'm like, okay, we working on your album. Let's sample this song. Before we finish this shit, I'm be like, look, 100% of the song is the sample. How do we benefit off of this financially? I wonder how Whitney Houston team, they probably didn't care. It was just probably so much of a hit that they just wanted to redo it. I wonder how much Jolene, that song Beyonce did over from Dolly Parton too. I wonder how I know she did switch up a few words, right? So she probably getting a little percentage of that. Um, but yeah, nowadays people want most of the money or they want a good portion of it. I don't think a lot of people are really pushing songs that are 100% sampled. So that comes to mind too. Because I know that what's that song? I wish I never missed you anymore. That's my favorite Angie Stone song. But I still think um her business dealings was just due to the fact that shit wasn't handled right. You got to make sure your business is done. Like, because listen, man, when the crowd stops screaming your name or shit starts slowing up, I think that's a lot. That's the point where a lot of people. That's the point where a lot of people they start realizing and education is everything. That's why I know, like, that's why I know when people give Nikki a hard time and they be calling her all types of B words and this and that. One thing I respect about her is her business acumen. This girl said, she said, not only was I obsessed with being an artist, I was obsessed with the music business. If you remember when she signed, She didn't get a typical 360 deal because she proved herself before she even dropped her first album. She had a buzz that was larger than a lot of people's on time. Her buzz, mixtape underground, was bigger than a lot of people on their main time. Shout out to a lot of people who doing their thing right now, but it's really crumbs compared to what she was doing on the DVDs and mixtapes and mix shows. So when it was time to barter a deal, when it's time to get those meals, she already had the buzz. So it's like, you got to talk to me nice, real talk. So when you know you possess the talent, when you know that you're the vessel of the being pushing this, what they want, you could go to market and demand more. You're not going to go to market, man, they still eating off that damn cat corpse. Let me cross the street. Oh, let me see what they're saying. 2007, that's how long I knew uh, through her music. I give grace for artists that came out in the 90s, 2000 because it was hard to learn a business. But now we got so much access to artists, nobody should, exactly. Because I wanted to say that in the most respectful way. Because when I was watching Angie Stone's live, she was saying like people were handling certain things. Like, rest in peace to you, Angie. Like, for real. But I felt like things like that should have been discovered years ago. Years ago. Come on, man. Come on. Let me get across the street. All right. So, but you live and you learn. And I'm pretty sure she was so comfortable with getting those funds from the shows. And that's why she said, she was like, in the clip, she was just like, she was a single mother. None of her children's fathers helped out at all. So she had to do those shows. Could you imagine just being on the road all the time? Like, that's crazy. Just on the road, on the go. But that $10,000, that 15, that $20,000, the bookings. Like, listen, is you looking or is you booking? And if she got to get booked to make sure that she's okay, she got to keep it going. And unfortunately, um, I'm hoping that she was set up right. Life insurance, so her family could. But listen, nowadays you learn that these record labels be wanting to have life insurance policies on the artists too. Like, that's crazy. Somebody told me that they were signing a deal and that they was that the amount of life insurance that they wanted to get put on them. Like, let me tell you something. Now that right there would make me wonder, why do you want so much life insurance on me? Like, that gets a little weird because it's just like, then a person ends up gone. I don't know. That's just a little spooky to me. But I guess they're protecting their investment in hindsight. But yeah, I have to be completely honest with you. I don't, I think that it was just unfortunate what happened in her accident. I think that the person, because listen, they said that the tractor trailer, the 18 wheeler hit the sprinter. That sounds like you jumped in front. You jumped in front of the truck. You didn't have enough space. You wanted to get in front so bad. I'm telling y'all, be careful. Yo, let me tell you the opposite side of some shit that happened. Um, this woman who I used to work with here in Houston, her boyfriend, I don't know why they didn't get married. They was together for like 20 years. But well, I'll say her husband. They was together for like almost 20 years, but they never wed. I don't know why. But he was in Houston on the south. Was it the south? No, it wasn't the Southwest Freeway. You probably could look this up too. It was the Northwest Freeway. It was the Sam Houston Freeway, right? So he was one of those truckers who transported gas, petroleum, right? Somebody jumped in front of his car. I'm sorry, in front of his truck. It caused the accident. Do you know that the whole truck went into flames and it killed him instantly? He died. So the person who was driving, they survived. You can also, it could be catastrophic for the driver as well. You can look that up. That was yo. I remember when she told me that, I was like, wow. So just because they're driving these huge trucks, they're at a risk too. And especially depending on what type of cargo you're transporting. So, yeah. It was she couldn't even really talk about it, but she did tell me. She was like, "Yeah, be careful when you want." Because I was telling her how I get to work sometimes. She was like, "Yeah, be careful on that Sam Houston." She was like, "I had, you know, the guy who she was with, a car jumped out in front of him, transferring petroleum, and it caused the accident, and the whole truck went up into flames. He was killed instantly." So it's just unfortunate. Like, yo, I can guarantee. Because think about this, right? I don't want to jump to no conclusions, but I want you to really think about it. How else would that 18 wheeler even come in contact with that sprinter? I know it's some of y'all in this chat. I don't care how many people it is. I know you've jumped out in front of a truck before. Now, we might double check it to make sure we got enough space so that we know we're near it. Because me, I'm a speed. And honestly, it's like having compassion, right? I have compassion for people who drive trucks, and I have compassion for people who drive who operate motorcycles. I don't play with either one of them. Now I might play a game and speed up on the truck, but I'm never jumping in front of them. Now the UPS drivers, they be getting on my damn nerves because I live near a UPS plant. And it seemed like every time I leave in the morning, I've even strategized to leave 10 minutes earlier because every time I leave in the morning, it's a fleet of damn UPS trucks. And I be so pushing the fucking pedal to the metal. Like, get out of here. Yeah. But yeah, the UPS workers, they be getting on my damn nerves because it's a fleet of them. Every time I'll be like, every time I hit this specific road, it's like so many of them coming out of the damn plant at one time. That should be pissing me off. Like, yo, can I tell you? I don't know if y'all like this too, but I know in my area, like typically, if I leave between 6:20 and 6:30, I'm good. I hate leaving my area probably at 6:40, 6:45. All of these school buses appear. And that shit will slow you down. It will slow you down. So I have even factored in leaving to beat the school buses. I just don't want to, I don't at all. That shit frustrates you. But those are, I respect the school buses because when I was younger, oh, I used to do some crazy shit. The school buses, I respect people who drive trucks and motorcycles. I don't play with them. I don't try to get close to them because it'll be catastrophic. You hit somebody on a motorcycle or you don't know them being out in the open like that. You just never know. Like, you don't. Second Khan said that the industry makes more money off artists when they are dead. I believe it. I'm gonna go back to Angie Stone's page and see how many listeners it went up. Yeah, they make more money. Um, I was listening to this clip where Angie Stone was saying that they had lied and said that she passed away before, right? And she was upset and she said that she was going to take out a lawsuit, that she was going to be filing a lawsuit because somebody was going around lying, saying that she had died. I don't know if I don't like that's weird to me, but that's happened to a few people where they said a person has passed away. Um, I didn't even know she dropped the album last year either. That was odd. She was the only one who passed away and watched Stone made a live speaking on Universal Music Group, cheating her out of her royalties. Right. But listen, let me just tell you this, right? I think you have to be very careful on the information that you ingest on the internet, right? Because let me tell you this, just to be personal, I was in an accident. My mother was a driver, my grandmother, me, and my three brothers, right? This would be a little personal. So my brother, he was injured. I was unscathed. The car flipped over and all of that. We was coming back from Boston to New York. My aunt had graduated from college. It's like in the 80s, right? Car flipped over. I think my brother might have had a little scratch on his lip, but it wasn't enough to get no insurance money. Because my other brother, he got paid out like over $100,000. He was getting that money up into his 30s, getting stacks of money because my mother had them insurance policies when we was younger. So my mother unscathed. My grandmother, I don't think she succumbed to. She was injured. She didn't die from that, but she was injured like my brother. But I was unscathed. So this is why when people say that, unless you was ever in an accident or you know people was in an accident, like nine people in a sprinter that flipped, it is possible that somebody could die, especially if she's the eldest, oldest, and you know how fragile she was. I know she was mentioning that she was having some health issues. You just never know. I'm not discounting what you're saying, but I'm telling you that you could be in an accident. I don't know why my brother, like, was I sitting in the middle? I just remember waking up. This is like, I just remember waking up and we was in the dark and then we was at the hospital, but I was unscathed completely, completely. No issues at all. My brother, I think he had, where, I have to ask my mom again, like where my brother was impacted. But I know that they had to pay him out like $100,000. And we would be so happy. My brother, I love him to death. He would be getting that insurance money. He would buy a new car, like a new Honda Accord. Um, he would get a new car, or he would just take us shopping and just stuff like that. My brother was so giving. I'm not saying that like he passed away, but he had a stroke, so he's disabled right now. But I just remember him getting that money. He was just so he showed so like he was just really he loved so hard when he was able. So that's why it's so unfortunate what he going through now. So yeah, yeah. You see, I'm out on a 2 hour walk where you can't see it, but that's what I do for the people who know me. But I had to look at the writing on the wall, even in that. Like my mother had a stroke, my father had a stroke. So my mother had a stroke when she was in her 30s, working three jobs, trying to send us to a private school, just probably not taking care of herself. But that's still a writing on the wall. My father had a stroke. My older brother, who don't got the same father as me, he had a stroke. My brother, who has the same mother and father as me, he had a stroke. That's four people right there. If I didn't see that as the writing on the wall to get my life together, I could possibly have a stroke. I like to talk too much shit. And my brother had his stroke was worse than my mother's stroke. His stroke was worse than her. So who's to say if I ever had a stroke that mine wouldn't be like that, and I wouldn't be able to come online and talk my shit and be analytical and shit like that. The stroke has impacted my brother a lot. Like, let me tell you this, right? My brother is in his right state of mind, but his judgment is way off. So, for an example, he's looking for an apartment and he be on Facebook and he was like, "Oh, bro, reach out to these people. I'm trying to get this apartment. Like they said they're gonna help me. I gotta send them my information." And I look at the profile. I'm like, bro, this person got like two friends, one picture on their Facebook page. I'm like, this is not a real Facebook page. And you know what he will do? Argue me down about how it is. And it took him a little while to see that it was not a real page. But you see, his judgment is off. He's still able to have regular conversations, but his judgment is way off. And like my mom, so I want to tell you this too. This is why it's good to take your health into the right, take it in your hands and do what you got to do. So my mom, she had a stroke, at a young age, but now she's in her older age, right? I want to tell you this: if you have a stroke, and I've said this before on this channel, if you have a stroke, it triples your chances of developing dementia, Alzheimer's, right? So my mom, she's been having some issues with her memory or whatever, and yeah, it's linked together. All of those people, my father had a stroke, my mother had a stroke, and I just told my other brother that too. I said, bro, you be smoking all this weed. He's talking about, oh, before I go to work every day, I have a few shots and I smoke my weed. I'm happy. Listen, I'm not judging you if you smoke. Do what's best for you, but be monitoring your blood pressure. Do heart healthy exercises. Eat heart healthy food. Because I'm telling you, we all gonna age. We all are gonna get up there. What type of ailments do you want to be dealing with once you get up there? My grandfather, he died um, when he was almost 90 years old. And even though he was a little weakened because he was on dialysis because he had high blood pressure, link, high blood pressure, kidneys, had high blood pressure. It was to the point where the medical provider told our family that my grandfather was on dialysis because of the high blood pressure medication. That's probably some sort of lawsuit in the sort. But you can't do anything because you have to have these medications to, you know, to help you. But the medical doctor told us that that high blood pressure medication damages your kidneys. You got to think about it. So, my grandfather, though, this is the trek of life that I want. The only reason why my grandfather died is because he got home after dialysis. He was trying to get his newspaper between the vestibule and his house, and he ended up falling. He broke his hip. And once you break your hip and you're immobile, pneumonia set in. And that's what pretty much took his life. So I'm 42. I'm claiming it. I'm going to live till probably almost 90. I am. Because the same thing I'm doing right now, like the walking 2 hours, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, working out for an hour and a half, six, the other days in the week, I'm super active. And being super active, it contributes to your cognitive health. It prevents cognitive decline. Not saying that it won't happen, but it attributes to uh, you know, just to stay in the right state of mind, like being alert, walking, being outside. Like it helps. My grandfather, he's always had a vehicle, but my whole life, like how I just walked 2 hours, I would see my grandfather randomly walking in the community. I'd be like, Grandpa, where you going? He's like, Oh, I'm going to the store. He would go do his grocery shopping on foot, walking about 3 miles to the grocery store and walking back. You got to stay active, y'all. I don't care if you got a vehicle or not. You have to stay active. It's important. Like, I don't care if you're 20 years old right now or if you're 30 or 40. I want you to think about what is your life going to look like 20 years from now? What is your posture going to be like? It's important. It's very important. And people underestimate that shit. They do. So that was a tangent about that. But yeah, take care of yourself. You don't want to have no stroke. I'm telling you. I put a stroke. A stroke is in the same category of, you have a computer, and say your computer get a virus. And say you get the computer cleaned up, or you get the virus, you get the computer fixed. Now, that computer got fixed, but it's something with you being the user that something's just not 100% anymore. That's what a stroke is like. And me, being my mom's child, and when you know your parents, like how they say, your parents or your brothers and siblings know you more than anybody, that's true. My brothers know me more than anybody. My mother, she knows me more than anybody, but I also know them too. And I would notice little things where it's like my mom, she wouldn't, like, it wasn't a lot when we was younger, but she would ask me things over. And it already planted the seed when I was younger. But I thought that could happen when she got older. But the thing is, due to research, I didn't know it could have been a result of having a stroke. But yeah, take care. Take care of yourself. It's so important. It's so important. Ah, let's see. I can definitely relate. I suffer from disassociation, and my mental is so off track. I'm better that I was, wait, you better than what you was a few months ago. Thank God I'm still recovering. I've been taking my health more serious. Yes. And another thing that you have to also do, make sure that you listen. I don't even care if all of the testing, if you get a lipid challenge at the doctor, get your blood work done, get it done, right? See if you have any deficiencies in your iron and your magnesium and your vitamin D. People don't realize how much your vitamin B complex. I'm telling you right now, because I be impacted by stress, but that shit just don't rule my life. It don't, right? You got to think like me right now. I'm trying to transition and trying to find a way to move back to New York because my mom is aging. It's the truth. It's like it's not going to stop, and I feel like with how much he has been and being an active parent, I can't like devalue that. So I feel like as she goes through things in her life, it's important for me to be there for her. Like even if she's not at her worst right now, it's so important because I wasn't raised by a damn pack of wolves. My mom raised me and she did a damn good job. So it's like you have to give back. So it's like train up a child in the way that they should go, you know what I'm saying? And to whom much is given, much is required. That's just my feelings on that. So, and that's a daily stressor for me too. But let me tell you this, right? I might be like, jumping ahead too far, but I know that the day that the Lord calls my mom home, this existence that I'm in, I had a great upbringing. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't. I'm happy that I was able to go through this existence with a person who would do anything for me. Because I see the way some people, like, for example, and it's the trauma that be associated with certain people. Like you would think on paper, like my niece, her mom is great on paper, but emotionally, she's abusive. And she got the nerve to be a damn doctorate level psychologist. And she is emotionally wrecking to my niece. But online, on Facebook, and the media, because she's in the media for doing certain things and being associated with organizations, they love her. But they don't know the bitch that she is behind the scenes. And I have recordings and everything to prove it. It's so sad. But you know what? And I don't know if this is some people's stories, but the thing about it is, my niece mom, her grandmother, she was an addict. She was on drugs. My niece mom stayed with her grandmother, so she never had that maternal love from her mom. So while on paper she's a good person, emotionally she's just not a good mom. She's not nurturing. She's not loving at all. And the odd thing about it was we all got mutual friends on Facebook. And one of our friends the other day was on Facebook and she was saying how people disrespect their kids and all of this. And I do this thing where I click on the likes because I want to see who liked it. I always do that. And I seen her name under it. And I said, look at this. I'm like, these people don't even know the type of person you are behind the scenes and the stuff that you have said to my niece. Like, yo, but you know what? She's a doctorate level psychologist. She make over $100,000 a year. She buys my niece nice things. So you have to realize a person who grew up in trauma and drama, they think just because they buy you nice gifts and that they pay the rent, even though they're the parent and they're supposed to do that, they think that your pain doesn't mean nothing. You want to know why they feel that way? Because you weren't sexually abused. You didn't have a mother who was on drugs. So your life possibly can't be as bad as mine. It can't be. This woman has bullied my niece since she was a little girl, calling her fat and shit, talking about it's better for me to call you it because if they call you it at school, it won't matter. You're a doctorate level psychologist. You're the most pookiest bitch in the world. And I want her to be exposed. It's sad. Like, I have real talks with my niece, and I be telling her, I'm gonna be honest with you. The ways that you feel about your mother, it's just not normal to me because, and I tell her, but I said it's the reason why you're like that is because the way she's to you. I said people are normally protective of their mother. Like you can't say anything off. Like, of course, this is the internet. People might say stuff to try to make you mad, but I'm saying like in real life, I had to check my cousin in real time before she said something like it was like some regular shit. Like my cousin was going through a breakup, and my mother was just like, you know, trying to offer her some advice. And she tried to get smart, like with me, but she was like, I don't know why your mother tried to give me advice or whatever. I checked that right in the moment. Me and her ain't speak for maybe about a month or two, but I checked. You don't listen. And I even kept it so real with her. I said, I'm gonna tell you that this is my favorite cousin too, right? I said, I don't care what you say about my mother behind my back, but don't you're gonna respect her to my face. Listen. And the thing about it too, you know how the apple don't fall far from the tree. I'm gonna tell you this too. You might think that this is wrong, and I'm gonna say this, and maybe you even going through it. But I'm gonna tell you this. My cousin, her mother grew up on drugs. She was raised by different people. And you know what this does that people don't realize? See, listen, I could really be the damn analyst. A person whose parent was on drugs and they could have been like raised by other people, they have a lack of respect for other adults. And my cousin, that's her description. So it's like, why would you think it's even okay? And she done it to my aunt. She did this to my aunt, and then she tried to do it to my mom too. It's like when it comes to other adult figures, she has no respect. With me, it's only a certain distance I'm gonna go with adults. Like I don't care. Like some people they don't see that though. They like, I'm gonna curse your ass the hell out. I don't argue with adults, like with elderly people, Like I don't. I just feel like it's disrespectful. But she doesn't see that. This girl done had riffs with my aunts, mad at them, like over just silliness. But and this is not a new talking point that I said. I said this over 10 years ago. I said, XYZ doesn't have respect for adults because she didn't have that type of relationship with her mom. And listen, and I'm saying it with an open heart, with a loving. I'm being blunt about what I'm saying, but can I say it's their fault? It's not their fault, but I mean, somebody probably didn't teach them better. They didn't, because I was taught to respect adults. Now, I was taught to respect adults, but if you're trying to put me in danger, use me, or some shit like that, then that's different. But yeah, I'm like, what would make you think, even though you my favorite cousin, that you could call me up and like, nobody asked your mother for her unsolicited, and that's why it didn't work out with you and that guy. That's exactly why it didn't work out. She was trying to help your ass, but you was in like delusional world thinking that it was gonna work out, and she was offering you up some advice. She's older than you. Not saying that you know you can have those aunts who are gonna offer you advice that's not really um, you know, valid. But my mother was telling her like she'd been through the same thing. She's like, nobody asked her or whatever. And you thought you was gonna text her son and say some shit like that? Ooh, let me tell you something. Nothing feels better than checking somebody in real time when they think that it's some even playing field. You will not disrespect my mother. I checked, yo, I'd never forget, I was living in New York at that time. It felt so good to check her in the moment. Like, nah, don't let shit linger. And then you ain't speaking to the person for 3 weeks. They're like, what happened? No, you will be proud of yourself because you'll be like, I checked that shit in real time. Fuck you think this is? Because you don't got no respect for adults. Because you don't got no respect for adults. You think that you just gonna handle mine like that. No, it's not gonna happen. Nope. Even to this day, my mother, she loves my cousin, but it's something about her. She was like, yeah, she's she knows. But my cousin has that type of energy because she just don't respect people like that. She don't. Um, I feel disconnected from my soul. It's really hell. Please prioritize. But why do you feel disconnected from your soul? Why? You got to find happiness in some way. And nobody is coming to save you in this life. I don't know if you thought about something from the fairy tales and you see thinking somebody's going to come and save you and take you out of your misery or whatever. You got to fix and romanticize your life to be and not perfect, but in a way where you can appreciate it. You have to. You can't look to be like, I need to meet a person who's just going to make me forget about what's going on between my ears. You got to find happiness. But I really urge you, please make sure you go to the doctors, check and get a lipid panel done, get a workup, see where you might be deficient and your minerals. Because I'm telling you, like I think what it is with me is I think it's a role of maybe a male Aquarius, but it's like I go through shit, but you would never know it. It's just my personality. You would never know it. And I just know how to handle business. I do. I might fall back for a few days. Like I might not like release videos or I might not be in the mood. Like I never force myself to do something, especially when I already work a full-time job and I got money. This is just fun to me and it's great to connect. But like I fall back in other ways, but I also make sure that I'm active, I'm exercising because that contributes to your overall mental health. You got to keep moving. So many people stay stagnant. Staying stagnant is only going to hurt you. They say that like, what did they say? Like, idle mind is a devil's playground. Take that into consideration. It really is. And you also have to learn how to control your thoughts. Most of the time, you got to start holding yourself accountable too. Like a lot of us got it real bad with being the victim. We do. And I would say even myself, like before, right? I would be like upset about certain things that would be on my mind until I started to hold myself accountable, realizing how much I was entertaining it. Like, I gave this example before, and I really think that this is a powerful tool that anybody could use, right? I promise you, when I was younger, my mom brought me to a psychologist because we had like a death that happened, and I felt guilty about it because I felt like I should have did more. So it was like grief counseling, right? And the woman, she helped me, but she didn't. I helped myself. What I didn't realize is, as I'm speaking right now, audibly, and you can hear me, we keep conversations going in our mind by ruminating, by opening up different folders, going through damn rabbit holes, going through the what ifs, wondering. You know what I've learned to do? Stop it. I don't entertain that shit. So you know how it's like that negative person or that person you don't like in real life? You don't feed them no conversation. When a negative thought comes across my mind about a misfortune or a disadvantage, I don't feed that shit. I don't. I don't. And I compare that shit to when back in the day, when your computer get a virus and they be like, this computer has been affected. Next thing you know, one envelope open up and then all these different folders start opening up and it's like a damn rapid fire. That's what your mind does too. Nope. I'll wait. I don't entertain it and I'll let the next thought flow in, especially if it's nothing that don't serve you. So you got to realize we got to hold ourselves accountable because we keep ourselves in the mix of the fucking loop de loo. You do, because I did it. You do. Whatever misfortune that you have, it's like waking up every day, you're thinking about it and you're entertaining it even in the silence. You're entertaining it even in the silence because it's usual to you. You don't know how to shut it up. And you have to stop feeding it. I promise you. When something come across your mind that you don't want to think about, even silently, we're entertaining these things like it's a fucking person. Treat it like a person you don't like in real life. What I do, I will literally think something like, nope, not today. I will wait and let a new thought flow in. Because when you be going through the what ifs or what if I would have called or how it made you feel, and then now you thinking about going through the mental rolodex of how it made you feel still, even though it's not happening in the now. You re-victimizing yourself. Like, and I learned this in high school. Our minds and our brains are never going to leave us. You have to control it. You have more control over your life than you think you have. You can't let some negative thoughts I understand, like the traumatic situation or whatever it was that you've been through, but you can't keep re-victimizing yourself. That thing that happened then, unless it's still happening, then make sure you get your help. But we have to find ways to move on and to breed better thoughts coming in and to control our minds. You'll be miserable for the rest of your life. No. So I implore you, when a negative thought or a negative situation that came from the past that's currently not serving you now, don't feed it. Don't. You opening up all these damn folders in your mind and you thinking about that shit. It's not serving you. Just stop it. Just stop it. See, the lady that I went to, when I told her this, she was like, when you think of a negative thought, just say stop. That shit ain't work. Yelling stop doesn't work. It's like an abrupt no. The real tool is stop entertaining that shit. And that's why it kind of like teeters on the lines of this is how I really feel. And I know that people have medical diagnosis too, right? But this is why I don't really believe in, and this is just me as one person. I'm not saying that schizophrenia is not real, but I think that we all have a conscience and we all think things flow through our head. And I think some people take that serious. You have to learn this is why I'm telling you, you'll be silent and something bad could just come to your mind. It could be something about a family member. Like it could be something about anybody. Like I used to go through this phase where somebody could piss me off and I would just think die. I don't know why that shit would just happen. Like they would just do something, it would piss me off, and I would just think die. I don't know why that would just come to my mind. I don't know why, and it used to make me feel bad. And I'm like, I would get really pissed off by them. I don't know why. We all have things that come to mind. People are just not transparent. They not. They're not. But it's all about controlling. It's all about controlling, and then also introducing positive thoughts. Don't ruminate about the negative. Let positive thoughts flow through. Think about the happiest points of your life. Think about how you're now able to love on yourself and change your trajectory and change, your future. It's like you can get stuck in a rut and think that this is it. Better days are coming. And I'm so happy. that now and the now, because when I was younger and I would think about a day where my mother was no longer in this world and it paralyzed me. It literally made me physically sick every time I thought about it could be a day that my mother was not living and above dirt. Now, you see how my conversation is. I'm happy that I went through this experience with somebody who loved me, somebody who would give me their all, somebody who was basically a superwoman to me. And it's not even that I'm appreciative of it because other people didn't have that. This is an experience, this is an existence, especially seeing, like, what some people may go through, but that's not my reasoning. I'm happy that I had that. So, should the day come where she's no longer here, thank you for this experience. You got to flip it. Everything is about perspective. Every day, like every day, it's about perspective. Now, I will tell you this: what would make me feel bad is if my mother perished, and I'm still living here. I didn't do as much as I could have done to help because I feel like I owe it to her. That would bother me. That would bother me probably for a lifetime. Um, because it's like on February 26th, I made 9 years here. So, while I have life set up for me here, I have to find a way to transition it because she doesn't want to come to Texas. So I have to wait. I have to find a way to make that transition, and that's not going to be easy either, psychologically, because I don't like New York anymore. I feel like I've outgrown New York. You go into the damn grocery store, everything is so high compared to Texas. It's like the produce doesn't even look as fresh, and then it's a difference. Those things really bother me. And I don't know how much longer, my mom is going to be alive. So it's like, I've even was like, should I just keep my apartment and just maybe find some remote work and maybe just travel back and forth? See, I'm kind of like, brainstorming that too. But something definitely needs to happen within the next few months. Next few months, something definitely needs to happen. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. And I feel like she deserves that. So I wake up in the morning with that on my mind. But how I feel like you need to do more for your mom. You need to find a way to bridge the gap to get back home. Those are the things that may, but those are things, those are impeding thoughts that matter. I'm not waking up in the morning thinking about who don't like me, who did something to me 20 years ago. Fuck them. I don't care about that. I don't. Listen, you know what? Somebody said something to me years ago, and I always hold on to things, to gems that people say. I hold on to the gems. They said, yo, I remember this person told me, she was like, yeah, and so, they be mistreating me. I might care a little bit, but I don't care enough. And that shit changed my life forever. And I think people think like, you know, bulletproof is also is sometimes about the optics of how it looks. We are human beings. Of course we don't like when somebody, maybe, I don't care if you don't like me, but of course we don't like when somebody talks against us or whatever. But I don't, the same time I don't like it, I don't care enough. Real talk. I don't. Because as long as I know I'm able to live a certain type of way, as long as I know that I'm in a good state, health wise, as long as I know that I was loved, and you even got to flip that in a way where even if you wasn't loved, the best, love on yourself. Like, it's this one girl who I follow on YouTube. She was talking about in her vlogs how she had like these bad relationships and how people be writing in her comments like, you need to put all of this effort into finding a man. And I told her in her comments like, I love the way that you romanticize your life. Everything is so super cozy and self-loving with her vlogs and shit like that. I like that. You got to appreciate your space when it's vacant of another person because then you're just trying to fill up the space. Romanticize your life as is. Appreciate what it is. Another person is supposed to come into you, you having a union with another person. It could make things better for you both, but it has to be beneficial. I know that, people try to say it's not about um relationships are not about money, XYZ. It may not be. Maybe you find somebody who's really, supportive of you and they treat you really good and you can trust them. I think trust trumps all. Trust trumps all. And I'm gonna be completely honest. As a 42-year-old man, I think that hmm, if I'm being fully transparent, one, two, and all of the relationships I had, I feel like I only really, and the one person I want to name, they did some foul shit too. So I can't even really say that I trust them, but we still have a good type of friendship now, even though we don't speak. But I only really, out of all my partners, I only really fully trusted one of them, like for real. And that's a lot to say with being this age and having multiple relationships. Real talk. Like, I only really fully trusted one. And that's just based on the happenings of, our situation. So I think, and the crazy thing, and let me say this too, right? This might sound sad, but that might be the only person that I could have fully had that type of transparency with in this lifetime. And that's what made me open my eyes up to realize that maybe life, we get tricked into feeling like we have to have a relationship to have fulfillment in life and to be happy. I'm telling you, the relationship with yourself is so important. Let me tell you how this shit happens, right? You grow up being a child to your parents, right? Whether you like male or female. You grow up being a child um, to your parents, then you go being a student. Then within school, you got somebody that's trying to jump up top of you, whether you try to hump them or they humping you. Now you got somebody going inside of you. You've never had a moment of figuring out who the hell you was. Now you in this long-term relationship in your damn teenage years, which goes into your going to your 20s and all of that. You never had space to really be. I'm gonna be transparent. I was always one of those people in relationships. I would break up and I would get into another one. Like I would break up, get into another one. I felt like I needed that. I needed it, right? But I realized after maybe 2017, 20, no, about 2019, that I needed myself more. I needed it more. And yeah, and like even right now, I'm not in a relationship, but I do have a person who I spend time with. We're not in a relationship, but we are intimate, and that's that. But I'm not in a relationship. But I felt like this period was the best period for me. Like it really was. It's the best period. Like, hmm, building up your own uh happiness and being out on your own, living alone and getting in tune with who you are, realizing what makes you happy, noticing your deficits, where you need to pick up at. A lot of the time, people really be miserable with how they're doing in life. If you're not doing good enough in a time like right now, what can you do to make more money so that you can do extra things? If you coming home after working 8 hours after 5 o'clock, I'm gonna be frank with you, right? When I first moved to Houston like 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, I wasn't making as much money as I made now. But guess what I was doing back then though? Because I watched my mother do it my whole life. If you ain't gonna make enough money on one job, we about to get two jobs. So I would do that and I would work to 10 o'clock. My day would start at like 6 in the morning and end at like 10 o'clock. But guess what? I always had money. It was the friend that you could call and I could go do anything at any time. And it was important to me because that's the lifestyle that I like. So if you're working and you're not making enough money, you got to find a way to make more money. You better turn this camera on. You better get creative and making content. You better find a way. You can make money on YouTube. You can, or whichever way that you can make money. You got to find a way to make more money. You can. Your catch or your snatch is just waiting for you. It really is. So a lot of people, like even for years, like one of my brothers, and he's doing so well now. Like he's doing really really good. Um, But what used to irritate me about him is that he used to complain so much, but then he would work and get off at 5 o'clock. I'd be like, nigga, Wolf Road is right there. Why you ain't trying to go work at the damn Roof Chris or the Olive Garden or whatever it is to bring, even if it's a 200, 300 extra a week? That's what I did. Shit. When I would work my full-time job and then I would work this job that only paid like two times a month, it felt good getting that little 650 to $700. every because they would pay twice a month, 2 times, you know, dumped on top of my salary. That's extra money if I need new tires, or if I want to go out to brunch, or if I want to get some new save some money or get some new sneakers, whatever the case that I wanted to do, just to have money. We all too old to be having $20 left till payday. We are too old. $20 left till payday? What if an emergency should happen? Come on. You got to be more systematic with your approach. Like, you just do. Even me. Like, lately, I've been spending way too much money on sneakers, but a lot of the sneakers have been released, and that's nostalgic from the 90s when my mom, she wasn't no Jordan buying mama. Hell no. She had mortgage to pay. She had, bills to pay. Like, we wasn't no Jordan raised kids at all. So now, even though I've gotten a lot of stuff and a lot of things are rebuys, I do things that I get stuff that I want that I probably didn't get like back then. But I'm so happy that my mom was like that because that's why I'm able to fall back and be like, nope. You know what I'm saying? Like material things, I love them, but I don't need them. I just have some of them. And I don't have all of them, but I just have some of them. But yeah, just have that ability to be able to self reflect, have that ability to realize if you've been breaking up with people and handling life a certain type of way, is it due to any deficiencies within you? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was dating somebody who I felt like I could have, and it's not even more so financial, but I just felt like I needed more self-development. And I think we overlook that a lot. And you know why you overlooking it? You overlooking your self-development because you feel like, I'm so sweet though. I love you. I didn't cheat on you. I'm there for you. Love is not everything. I hate to tell you this, even if you're a man who's listening to this, people will feel like you need to develop yourself better because I don't know how to put it, but it's just like when you're dating, that's so important. And people get so caught up in the love. Love is great. But say we have a long-term relationship, and this does turn kind of financial. Say we do have a long-term relationship. What if we have kids? What if one of us gets sick? You have poor credit. What if we need a loan until you find a job for 2 months? Or what if your spouse gets sick or you get sick? You can't even get no damn loan because everything is just so bad, you know, wither and tither. You damaged everything. You can't even get afterpay. You just screwed everything up. I'm telling you this as a person to not to judge you. I told you how this made my ninth year here. When I first moved here, my credit was at the top. I went through a breakup. I was maxing out them cards. Listen, I was doing a lot. It was like I was in a conundrum. I was dealing with the pain of coping and being away from my family, almost 2,000 miles away from home. Like, people ask me, oh, you want to go out? Yeah, I'm like, let's go out. And then me having a closet full of clothes, like, oh no, I need to go buy something new. Going out, spending $200 on an outfit, going out, just for, and you know what really woke me up for that? I'm doing all of this just to feel like something, right? And when you go out, people just be regular. They don't give a fuck about what you got on. Yo, Texas opened my mind up so much to a lot because I had that New York mentality where it's just like, oh, I need to be brand down. I need to have this. I need to have that. I've met so many people here that they don't care about that shit. They don't. When I tell you Texas has I've grown so much here where I still do like my things. I like my pieces here and there. And that's one of the big reasons when I used to well, I still do it sometimes, but not as much. But that's a big reason that when I came on camera, I will only wear white or black shirts because I don't want you to I don't want you to. Yeah, I do. I could come home from wearing a damn button up or a damn, I got a few of those, what is that Harlem designer? Um, Not the Dapper Don, I got that too. But I have a few nice pieces. But typically when I come on camera, I wear underwhelming things because I don't want to build that up to make me feel like I need to be like that all the time. No, no. That's a stress factor. I don't need to add that. And while I may have it, It just gets to be an expectation. No. So yeah, I'm happy that I got out of that phase. Then I went through a phase of having poor credit. My credit was so bad. That's why I had to pay my car off. Yo, my credit was so bad in 2019, 2020, when I got that car, that interest rate was like 20%. And I was like, after I was paying on the car for like a year or two, I was like, by the time I end up paying this car off, like I would have paid double for this car. I said, what? No. See, I don't play around with the 401k, but I've been stacking money in my 401k. Like I've had a 401k since probably age 21. And I'm not like some people when you get fired from a job, you take the money out and you spend it, I roll it over. I had a good coin in my 401k. Once I realized that, I paid that car off immediately. I said, no, I would have eventually paid like double for that, double for that vehicle. Hell no. No. I took that money out quick, took a loan out off my money and paid that shit right off. So I'm in the phase where my credit is good. So it's like I could get things and like, it feels like, and I feel like this whole thing is a trap too with credit. But now I could get things and you know, like for example, like a few weeks ago, I was going to Old Navy and I seen something that I like. And a lady was like, oh, do you know that you can get an extra 40% off if you sign up for a card right now? Sign up for the card, got like $1,500 from Old Navy. I was like, oh, life is so much easier for you when you pay your shit down. It is. I wanted these sneakers from eBay. They was like $300, 100. It was 100% write up from retail, but I wanted them so bad, right? PayPal had this thing where you could get it and pay it off in 6 months with no interest. So I said, even though that this is a resale, it would make more sense to me to be able to pay it off over 6 months. And dealing with the fact that I paid over retail for these sneakers, it would make me just process it a little better, right? So I got them, got approved for PayPal. What did I get from PayPal? Like $3,000 interest free. I couldn't do that years ago. My credit was so bad. But having your credit in a good place, it matters. It really, really does. And it shows like your credit is kind of like it's behavior driven. It's behavior driven. Let's be honest. It's like seeing the Carfax. It's like we want to see who's been naughty or who's been nice. It really shows your behaviors. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Hold on a second. All right. So, how much longer I got? I probably got like 15, 20 minutes left of my walk. I've been running my mouth so long. But the all in all message of this is to value your life. Each moment is precious. You never know when the last moment will be. Um, I'm not placing blame on anybody in the Angie Stone situation, but when you're out here and you're in a vehicle and you're driving, um, don't jump in front of these trucks. If you do get in front of a truck, make sure you have a proper amount of space because I can guarantee you the truck didn't. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. The trucks can sideswipe people and do certain things. That could be true, but a lot of the times, if that shit flipped like that, that sounds like that sprinter jumped in front of them or something like that. So be careful when you out there because each moment is precious and your life could be snatched away just instantly like that. Again, I was in an accident with multiple people in the car. I was unscathed. My brother did have injuries. He did. He started getting paid out from that money. He was like 18. Did he get like $50,000? They broke it up in like three payments. Maybe I think when he was 18, he got 25,000. Um, when he was, I can't remember the points though, to be honest. I just know we were spending money and he was doing nice stuff for us. But yeah, it is possible to be in an accident with nine people and one may succumb to their injuries. Like, I think the online sensationalism just makes us think that, it was something like especially with the conspiracy theorists, like you'll just think like, oh no, she was targeted. I mean, she also had some medical things going on as well. So my heart goes out to her family. My heart goes out to Angie Stone. What the hell is that? Oh, that was a turtle. Okay, I'm about to end this here. I'm gonna listen to some music for the remainder of my walk. I hope y'all all have a blessed day. I'm probably gonna record something when I get home. They cleared it up. What's up, the truck? Thank you. So what they say? You said they cleared it up. It wasn't the truck driver's fault. See, I know that it wasn't. Because you want to know why? I can be transparent as a driver, knowing how people jump in front of trucks sometimes. But I give them that grace. Even if I am seemingly racing with a truck on the freeway, I make sure that I get up above them to cross over. You don't ever put those people carrying that car, carrying, so much weight. Don't do that to them. But you got those people, those those damn race soldiers, they just want to be zooming on the damn highway. You ever see a person, they zoom up, they slow down. Now, what I might do is I'll get completely away from the truck. And if I see them speeding up and catching up with me, I'll step on it just to get away from them. But I'm not swerving in and out of traffic in front of them. That can be completely dangerous for them. Don't do that. See? I know it. So while it's all these conspiracy theorists and they're saying that, oh, how did she die out of 9 people? Because that can happen. Maybe it's foreign to you. You've never been in an accident before, but that can happen. What if she was sitting in a specific, what if she was like, yo, honestly, what if she didn't have her seatbelt on? What if she was sitting by one of the windows? What if she had a window seat and when the truck slammed, it hit her, it slammed and hit, caused brain injuries? You don't know. But it's so easy to jump up and be on Twitter or to be on TikTok. And that was one of the reasons when they was talking about TikTok was being banned. The only reason why it changed my heart and I didn't want it to be banned because I seen how much money my friend was making. This girl's clearing anywhere between $1,500 to $4,000 a week working her TikTok shop. Just merely just getting people to check out, doing little makeup reviews and getting stuff that people are buying, like different clothing items or whatever. And I said, you know what? This is somebody who I know. And I know it's multiple people who do that. But I said, nah, she need to have a way to get it. Even though she didn't quit her full-time job, I'm like, nah, I'm not for it. The reason I wanted TikTok to go away is because it gives the average person just an ability to be slow, applying energy to damn conspiracy theories that they didn't even apply that energy into working, graduating high school, going to college. But you got so much mental fortitude to put together some stupid ass theory about somebody's life. And a lot of people not even being respectful of the family. Like, come on. Like, yo, let me tell you something. And it's nothing against those people because sometimes they merely do it for clicks and views. But if you're that type of person and you want to get a channel to grow fast, do your channel on conspiracy theories. Do that. It's not in my spirit to do that. Like, and I think that comes with the whole respect. That comes with respect too. Like, for example, right? It's a content creator who I might not speak to, but I have a lot of respect for her. I see so many people making content about her. If I was a corny ass nigga, I would be doing that same shit. I'm not like that. I'm not. I feel like you gotta be the real person that you are in life and do that online too. You don't fucking like just dogpile and treat people like you're a fucking vulture, like it's some roadkill and just like everybody trying to get a piece. Everybody just trying to get a piece. Like this same street that I'm walking on right now, right? It was this huge possum that got hit by a car one night that I seen, right? I said this story a few times, but I delete the lives. It was this huge possum that got hit. I seen it the night I was coming back from the gym. The next day, it was a day like this where I do my 2 hour walk. I seen it with all these vultures. All these vultures was picking at the damn corpse. When I tell you it was like they was playing tug of war. They was snatching that shit from left to right, just eating at it like vultures, jackals. When a person is down and wounded, people go in for the kill. That don't feel good to me. That's not like that's corny to me. I don't get down with that at all. So I noticed that type of energy with YouTube. That a lot of people do that. Instead of trying to uplift a person, they would rather just pick you apart. and just bite at you, gnaw at you, hit you where it hurts, where they think it hurts. They would just rather do that. And that's something that I just can't identify with. I can't. So you got to be very careful in these spaces and protect your energy, protect yourself. Protecting your energy is also protecting yourself away from other people too. Like, nah, you got to have the ability to be laser focused, have tunnel vision, and stay away from like the bullshit for real. You have to. You have to. And the ability to do that is knowing yourself, knowing what you bring to the table, and focusing on your own happiness. Like, it's too easy. So I said that in regarding to being a conspiracy theorist, right? You know how easy it would be for me to go home soon as I get home, take my shower, and be like, let me make a video about the industry conspiring against Angie Stone. No, I've been in an accident before. My family has. I know that that could happen. A vehicle or a sprinter carrying in 9 people, you might think that it's a conspiracy. People, that happens all the time. Did you ever question or throw in your video that where she could have been sitting? The car, it flipped 3 times. What if she was sitting near the window? What if she didn't have a seatbelt on and she flew to the glass or whatever? We don't know that. We don't know any of the full description. We don't know that. But it's more interesting and entertaining to say that it's a conspiracy. And to me, as a human being, that's not respectful. It's not. But we all lead a different way. When Jesus say no, right. When Jesus say yes, nobody can say no. That's a fact. So listen, let me wrap this up. I'm nearing my destination. Oh, I'm so happy that this walk is almost over. I'm about to go home, make me a nice little baked turkey bacon and cheese omelet. It's gonna be so good. Is this that lady? Let me cross the street. She was over here last time, looking fucking weird. See, that's another thing I'll be telling you, like, where you gotta be on point as far as like people, places, and things. I don't know if she has some sort of mental illness or whatever, but every time I walk over here, it's just a random gazing, like, and it's starting to be more and more frequent. And she looking at me, I'm looking at her. Like, I don't know if it's something going on, but it's like this appearance of like casing out the joint. Like, I don't know. Weird. So I said, and, even though I know physically, but shit, you don't know if she got a knife or something like that. But that right there, physically, like I was saying in one of my other lives, self-defense is not always physical. It's to send a signal like, yeah, I seen you a few days ago doing this weird shit, so now you on my side of the street. I'm going to cross over. If you cross over, then I'm going to know something up. Like, and I have been walking this path for months. I just started seeing this woman now. Like, I'm on a neighborhood app, and on a neighborhood app, they always give descriptions of people who just be lurking in the areas. She just be looking weird. Like, I don't know if something is wrong, but I'm not underestimating her. Shit, she could be trying to get revenge on. So I don't know what she doing over here, but I know that I've been. This is my second time seeing her looking like she's aimlessly walking. The hell out of here. Anyway, be blessed. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna do an upload later. I hope you have a great day, and I'm gonna holler at you later. Peace.